we're going to talk about sugar. I am Connie Costello. I'm a health coach, certified health coach, and I address the whole person. I specialize on weight loss and energy because I find that when these two are where you want them to be, then you're leading a pretty healthy lifestyle. So that's where I want to focus, and sugar is one of the things you really have to consider. I learned how to heal myself, and when I did that, I could not wait to tell the world about my transformation. But first, I had to get educated, and so I got certified. Now, I help my clients learn what, when, and how to eat, and most importantly, why they eat. And that way they can control their cravings, find their happy weight, and enjoy a happier and healthier, more energetic life. Now, they say, my clients come to me, some of them say, Connie, I didn't realize how bad I felt until I knew what it was to feel good. Now, I'm going to share with you as much as I can in the short time that we have today. And for those of you who want to explore further, I'm offering you a private session, a mini private session, free. But that is, you have to stay until the end of the presentation because there's a lot of good stuff coming up. So let me know if you can hear me properly and everything's working. Please write yes on your chat and let me know. I hope everything's good. Okay. And let's get going with this. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the ways that sugar can be out of your life. You really want to control it. And you're going to discover 7 ways to kick your sugar habit today, right here. Okay. Now, you are going to learn that sugar habit is not your fault, and it's not about willpower. It has a lot of other things that goes on in your body that you need to be aware of, and that you need to support your body in order to control this habit, because it is addictive, and we'll talk about that. You'll learn what your cravings are trying to tell you and why you should listen, and why you need to identify triggers and how to deal with those. That's going to be a big part of it. Now, you're in the right place if sugar was your favorite food growing up. I know it was for me. And sugar is your favorite sweet now. If you seek out sugar when you feel tired, and if you experience the side effects of sugar, which can be headaches, mood swings, or inflammation, and which gives rise to conditions like arthritis and other autoimmune disorders. Now, if you've tried everything and you just can't kick the sugar habit, you're definitely in the right place. And if you want to learn where sugar hides and what alternatives you can use, I will tell you about those too. Now, my intention for this webinar is to permanently change your relationship with sugar. So I need you to be here 100%. I know we all get distracted. We have all these windows open and we have our phones, and you have to put those, turn those off, close your windows on your computer, and just pay attention, because it really is important. Pay attention as if your life depends on it, because it does. You will turn your life completely around. It will be completely different when you're eating well and you understand food, okay? Because what you eat really changes everything. Now, let's talk a little bit about digestion, because that's going to help you understand what's happening in your body. When your food goes into your stomach, what happens is it gets digested and it gets absorbed into our blood. And your gut is responsible for absorbing a lot of the nutrients found in foods, the vitamins and minerals. Now, our blood is what creates our cells, our tissues, our organs, even our thoughts. So what you eat and what goes into your body is extremely important. So we feel differently when we have something like coffee or alcohol, or if we have sugar, or if we have nutritious food. It changes everything. Okay? Now, the important thing to remember is that when you're feeding your body, you're also feeding your gut. And the bacteria that live inside your gut have a lot to do with the cravings you experience. I will talk about that in a little more detail later on, because that's really going to help you. So here's a chance to get a handle on what you eat and drink. And it's not about willpower or discipline, but by understanding what causes those crazy, uncontrollable cravings. That's how you can reduce them naturally. And I have a special guest with me today. Her name is Shivani Gupta, and she has something very special to share with you so that those cravings can be more under control and you'll be able to get rid of the sugar cravings, okay? That really run crazy. All right, so when you eat sugar, you get a lot of these little voices saying, I want it. I can have only one. I'm in control. I should not have them. Oh no, I can't have only one. I can't control this. And guess what? Those little voices, those are the bacteria inside your gut. They are talking, because when you have bad bacteria, which gets fed by all the sugar and all the inflammatory foods, they are the ones that are controlling. And they're the ones saying, feed me, I need more. When we eat chocolate, for example, there's good and bad chocolate. There's the dark chocolate, which is very good and full of anti-inflammatories. And then we have the chocolate that's full of sugar, and it's a lot made out of milk. And milk has sugar. It has natural sugars, but it's got its sugars. Now, when we eat it, we crave it. We feel happy, energetic, in love. Oh, it feels so, so good. But guess what? That's not going to last very long, okay? And the reason, we'll get into that, but what happens when you eat your chocolate, it creates it releases these good mood chemicals in your brain, okay? They're called serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. The serotonin, they calm us, they relax us, we feel great. They're really good. The dopamine, they give us the energy that we really want with sugar. We want that energy, and it feels great. And then we have the endorphins. They're the natural tranquilizers. It's like somebody's giving us a hug. We feel so good. And this feeling is fabulous. I mean, imagine all of this happens with sugar. But it doesn't last very long, because sugar puts you in this big roller coaster. Initially, you are high, feeling great. But soon enough, what happens is you crash. Yep. You start feeling all the bad things, which are you're tired and you have headaches, you are cranky, you're impatient, you're low energy, and it's really in the afternoon. But it can go up and down all day long. That depends on how often you take sugar. So let's look at what happens in your body when sugar comes in. What happens is sugar comes and the body sees it as a state of emergency. It says, oh no, and tells the pancreas, get the insulin going. This is a hormone that brings the blood sugar down. Okay, so the insulin gets released and it goes, sometimes, a lot of it gets released. So you start going down, your blood sugar starts going down. If there's too much insulin released, then you're gonna crash. Then when you're all the way down there, as you can see on that picture, when you're all crashed on the bottom, you're gonna want something to get you up, an energy. And what's that gonna be? Well, your body knows it's gonna be some kind of carbohydrate, some kind of sugary food. It could be a muffin, it could be some donuts, some cookies, it depends. Or it could be something not as apparent. It could be pastas and breads, which are carbohydrates, but not exactly sugar. So that's what's gonna happen, all right? And then it's gonna go on throughout the day. And that's gonna be, depending on how often this happens, it will basically how you're gonna feel by the end of the day. So that is what takes place. And that is why I need you to know that sugar is not your fault. It is an addictive, destructive substance. And eating just a small amount creates a desire for more. It's just you really can't control it. And so suddenly, you quitting causes withdrawals. Like, I told you the symptoms of the headaches and the mood swings and all that. And then what happens? You want more because you don't like to be in that state. Who likes to feel that way? We don't. It's not good. So that's another reason why, sugar does all these things that I told you about, but it runs down your immune system. It leads to metabolic syndrome. It pancreatic exhaustion. It creates inflammation in the body, and that is the foundation for disease. It leads to insulin resistance, obesity, heart disease, and even cancer. And that's why going cold turkey with sugar is not a great idea, because those withdrawal syndromes, you're going to feel them, and they can feel really, really bad. And that's going to really derail you from all your efforts of stopping sugar. I know some people have been very successful in going cold turkey, but it's not the majority. So if you've tried that before and it failed for you, don't worry. I will show you 7 steps that will get you there. And you can do these during the holiday season. Trust me, it can be done. So this is what we're going to do. We are not going cold turkey on the sugar. No way. Okay? And although sugar has been compared to cocaine, and that's because it's so highly addictive. And cocaine, you have to go cold turkey on cocaine. And people go through such withdrawals with that. It's very different because cocaine, we can somewhat, remove ourselves from the situation. You can remove yourselves from situations where they're selling cocaine, from friends who do cocaine. But with sugar, you can't do that because sugar is everywhere. Every time you step out of the house, sugar is available to you. And all these people and places you go to, there's going to be some sugary stuff. So that's not the solution. So one great way to do it is to identify the high sugar foods, the medium, and the low sugar foods, and you go replacing them. And I'm going to help you do that. You go from high to medium, and eventually you go to low. This way you will condition your body to need less sugar, while at the same time giving it a little sugar to satisfy its cravings. Eventually your body won't need it, but in the special occasion that there is a delicious cake and you want some, you'll be able to have it. And guess what? I know you're not going to want it, because eventually you just don't want that sweet stuff. Okay? But hang tight, because the 7 steps will help you get off that roller coaster gradually. And that's why you can do this during the holidays. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the information we've been receiving on sugar. And it's been for a while. In February of 2004, and that's more than 10 years ago, we were already told by a very reputable magazine, Time magazine, that sugar was the secret killer, and that it creates inflammation in the body, it runs down the immune system, and it is responsible for diabetes and obesity. Okay? Now, the thing is, the Time magazine had this article, and since then we've been making minor changes, but not as much as we should, because we have tripled that number. There's 6 million kids in America who were overweight back in 2004, and we have tripled that number in a decade, and the numbers are now surpassing 20 million, and it's worldwide. The World Health Organization has shown that the percentage of obese humans globally has doubled in the past 28 years. And diabetes is the 6th leading cause of death. Now, those are pretty grim, results out there, and we don't want that. You don't want to be one of those statistics, and you won't, because you are here. You are wanting to make a difference and change, and that is fantastic. So let's look a little more information on sugar and how bad it is for us. Okay, it causes inflammation. Okay, and inflammation suppresses the immune system. And like I told you, the gut is responsible for the absorption of vitamins and minerals. And guess what? It interferes with that too. And for women, this is a big one. It causes candida. All the yeast infections and other kinds of infections, Sugar has a lot to do with that. And hypoglycemia, it causes weight gain and obesity because excess sugar gets stored as fat. And then when you when you are consuming a lot of sugar, our body needs glucose, which is sugar, to do all that it needs to do throughout the day. So it uses that for energy. But eventually, it if it continues getting all this glucose all the time, then it never taps into the fat storage. And so you can't lose weight. All right. It contributes to diabetes. Like I said, it's the sixth leading cause of death. Heart disease, it increases cholesterol, it leads to cancer, and it really ages our skin. Okay, so that's not good. Causes headaches, migraines, depression, and Alzheimer's. I mean, and insomnia. And I will talk about that in a bit, because you need to get your sleep. That will help you. Now, is that a treat? Do you think so? I mean, everything we put in our body either promotes health or disease. And that's not a treat, okay? So we're going to move away from that. Now, in 2011, the New York Times Magazine had an article called "Sweet and Vicious, Is Sugar Toxic?" And the president of the leading cancer treatment and treatment and also research institute, he said, "I have eliminated refined sugar from my diet. Ultimately, it's something I can do to decrease my risk of cancer." But guess what? It's not only the cancer institutions and all these other doctors that are telling us to stop using sugar. Even the American Heart Association, they say that we actually consume 22 teaspoons per day, the average adult. But we should be consuming 6 teaspoons for women and 9 teaspoons for men of added sugar. And I will show you how easy it is to get there. And then we have doctors like Dr. Hyman and Dr. Lustig. Dr. Lustig is one of my favorites. He has a super presentation on YouTube, and he goes in great detail about all sugar does to us. But it's not your fault. The food industry designs foods to be craved, irresistible, and addictive. They load them with sugar and fat and salt because that's what we want. Our bodies crave that. But if we give it the healthy stuff, then we're fine. We're on control. But chips and M&Ms, I bet you can't eat just one. And that's what they tell you, right? Because they know. I mean, they're in the business of making money. So we have things that are really high sugar, like Coke. And I'm sure you've heard about that. We used to have a can of Coke. But now we have bottles that are 20 ounces. And that's 65 grams of sugar or 15 teaspoons. And that's of added sugar. Remember, men, 9 teaspoons, women, 6 teaspoons. Well, we definitely surpassed it with one of those. So what can we do? What can we do about all this? Well, here goes the 7 steps. Number 1, you need to read the labels and understand the labels. All right. We have cereals like Raisin Bran. And this is an example because it looks pretty healthy, doesn't it? I mean, look at that. Raisin Bran is made out of raisins, and it has a lot of bran, which is fiber. And fiber is really good when you have sugar because it helps absorb the sugar and slow down the absorption of blood in the sugar. Okay. So it doesn't create all those ups and downs that we saw, the roller coaster rides. But what you need to do is you need to look at the ingredients list. And if we look at the ingredient list of Raisin Bran, for example, we see that sugar is in 3 times there. Of course, the raisins are going to have natural sugar, but they also added sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and malt. And those are all sugars. Okay? In 1 cup of Raisin Bran, you get 5 teaspoons of sugar. Now, say you wake up in the morning and you put 1 cup of Raisin Bran and you add some milk, and say you like your coffee and you put a little bit of sugar in your coffee. Well, guess what? If you're a woman, you're already up to 6 teaspoons of sugar in the morning of added sugar. So it's going to be very easy to surpass that. But that doesn't mean we can't eat sugar. There's many things that don't have added sugar that are sweet and delicious. But let's keep on this reading the labels because I really want you to understand this, okay? So if sugar is number one in anything you pick up, any of the boxes or packages, put it back. If sugar is listed many times by different names and on your handout, the download document that you're going to be able to get at the end, guess what? Put it back because it comes in so many different names, and so you just want to have least sugar as possible. And if it has a long list of ingredients that you can't even pronounce, these are chemicals that don't belong in our bodies. So don't drink it, don't eat it. Now there's many names for sugar. There's brown sugar, raw sugar, cane sugar, beet sugar, all kinds of names. But what I want you to understand, and I am giving you all the names for sugar in your handout too. But I want you to know that everything that ends in OSC, like fructose, sucrose, dextrose, glucose, lactose, maltose, they're all sugars. And everything that ends in TOL, like sorbitol, mannitol, maltitol, xylitol, they're all sugars too. So you can just go through your list of ingredients and look out for these. Now, the best alternatives are natural sweeteners, and we have a few. We have honey, brown rice syrup, dates. Dates are great to just throw into your smoothie and sweeten things up. Maple syrup, you have to spend money on this one. It has to be a real maple syrup. There's a lot of fake one out there. Molasses. And then we have natural sweeteners, which have no calories, like stevia or monk fruit. Now, stevia is has a taste, an aftertaste that I really don't like. So I prefer monk fruit, which does not have that taste. So, I don't use any of these, but if you're trying to cut down, you definitely want to try them. They can help you in the process. And then of course, you have the best choices, which are fruit and sweet vegetables. Now, you have to identify the triggers. That is the most important, okay? What makes you reach out for sugar? Is it something you saw on TV? Is it something you smelled as you were driving or passing by? Was it the pizza in the oven? Did you pass by a vending machine and you saw sodas? Are you walking around the office and you see candy or chocolate? Is it because you're bored? Is it because you're tired? Is it lonely or stressed? I mean, stress is a big part of it because stress releases the hormone cortisol. And cortisol is one of the hormones that also produces the insulin that brings down the sugar. Okay? So they're totally and closely related. Now, once you identify the trigger, guess what? Replace it with a physical activity. Immediately do something that's going to get you out of there, out of that trigger spot. So take a walk up and down the stairs, get up from your desk and walk around the office, do jumping jacks, jogging, go to the gym, whatever you feel is going to get you away from that trigger. And just for a little bit, sometimes that's all you need. Now, once you're done with that, you need to reassess how you feel. And if you feel that you still want your sugar, well, there's options. You need to crowd it out with a lower sugar food, with real food. You do not tell yourself, I can't have it. That is the worst thing you can do because then you're going to eventually binge on it or something. You say, I can't have it, but first, let's try something else that has sugar, natural sugars in it, like berries or bananas or even, nuts and seeds. They have sugars because they're hard carbohydrates also. They have carbohydrates, but they have a lot of healthy fat, and healthy fat really helps. Really, really helps to make you feel satisfied. So do that first, okay? So when you're reading the labels, what you're doing is you're going to learn to replace high sugar foods for medium sugar foods and eventually low sugar foods. I have a list of all of these in your handout, your download. So make sure you get it and you go through them. They are from JJ Virgin. She is awesome. She knows a lot about sugar foods, and it will really, really help you. Okay? So that's how we're going to get off sugar. And it's going to be a process, and we're going to do it during the month of December. And guess what? It starts tomorrow. Okay? So make sure you read through it and get working on it. Now, so when you're crowding it out, basically you're going from highly refined foods like the cereals with all the sugary stuff, and oh no, the artificial colors, which are also very bad. And then you have maybe muffins and pancakes with a ton of syrup. Then you're going to start, looking at other alternatives. You can still have sweet stuff, but trust me, it's so much more delicious when you start exploring what's out there. Maybe you don't know right now, but they're really, really good. So you can have other cereals, some granolas. You also have to watch, even in all these things that seem to be very good, you have to read the labels and you have to see how much sugar is in them. If there's something that is really important that I wish to give you today, is that 4 grams of sugar is equal to 1 teaspoon. That's super important, and it's also in your document that you're going to download, okay? Because that is so important when you go shopping, to make sure that they don't load things with sugar, all right? Now, once you go from high sugar foods to medium, you eventually get to foods that love you back. They're carbohydrates that appear in nature. They're wholesome foods and fruits and vegetables and grains, whole grains, not the refined grains that we see all over the boxed products at the grocery store, okay? So, number 4 is you need to get your sleep. And the thing with sleep is studies have proven that appetite increases 25% when you're tired. Why do you think that is? Well, when you're tired, you don't feel too good. You don't have much energy. So you're going to eat and you're going to seek foods that give you energy. Unfortunately, they're not the best foods most of the time. So make sure you get your sleep. You should get about 6, 7, or 8 hours every night. If you wake up tired, you need a little more sleep. Okay? Don't have it in the house. Are you hungry? What are you looking for? Don't have sugar in your house, the refined sugars, okay? Now, I know I told you can have sugars during the holiday season, right? And I did, because it's the holiday season and you gotta be realistic. So what I want you to do, and this is for the holiday season of December, I want you to say to yourself that you're gonna have 3 sugary treats. And you pick one, but you're only going to have 3. And those 3 is going to be it, okay? You're not going to have any more. But when you do have them, I don't want you to feel guilty or self-conscious or bad about it. Just have them and enjoy them, because you're working on reducing your sugar. So you're going to continue on with what you're working on once you have your treat, okay? And it can happen. Deprivation is not the solution. You need to lower your stress, all right? Stress, like I said, again, is the hormone that creates all that. It is horrible. It's not a good thing. So you need to lower your stress, and there's many ways to do that. You can do it with exercise. That's my favorite. Meditation. You can take a warm bath, and you can put some Epsom salts and lavender oil to calm you down. You can do some breathing exercises. And I have some amazing handout that I can share with you if you want to. I'll be happy to send it to you. Just send me an email. Tell me you really want to work on your stress, and I will send you those tips. Okay? Now, there's one very important thing you can also do, and that is to support your body. You support your body with warm lemon water. That is one of my favorites. Okay, I'm going to give you a few tips. Warm lemon water is fantastic. It really helps repopulate your gut with healthy bacteria. I recommend it first thing in the morning, but if you can't, don't worry about it. Just do it later. It really helps. Hydration. You must drink water. It's very important to keep your body hydrated. Dark chocolate. You want to treat yourself? Go ahead. Have dark chocolate, but make it at least 70% dark. If not more, better. Okay? And only 4 to 6 ounces a day. That's not much. That's 2 little squares. But if you put them in your mouth and you let them melt in your mouth, it's delicious. And you're going to just feel it. It will satisfy the craving. Now, eat foods that promote gut health. And I don't have time to go through those right now, but they're prebiotic and probiotic foods, which I have on that document you're going to get. And now I'm going to hand it over to Shivani, because she is going to talk to you about other things you can do. And she's going to talk about turmeric and other Ayurveda ways to control those cravings for that irresistible sugar. So here we go. 1 second.
Hi everyone, it's me, Shivani Gupta, CEO of Fusionary Formulas, and I wanted to chat with you a little bit about Ayurveda and the different herbs that we have that can benefit you. So Ayurveda is a system of health and healing that's over 5,000 years old. And within Ayurveda, we have one component, one area under nutrition and herbology, where we do talk a lot about different herbs and spices that you can easily incorporate into your life that can easily help you maintain your weight, help live a healthier, more balanced life, or help you stop craving sugar as much. And we've discussed so many great ways to work with sugar. Ayurveda considers sugar something that is difficult to digest. And Ayurveda says that sugar causes in the body. And what means is when you put sugar in the body and it's not well digested, you all of a sudden create waste, or you create toxins that settle in the body and later cause disease. And in this webinar, we've already discussed so many diseases that come from eating sugar, so we don't need to go over that. But sugar does lead to fluid retention, to weight gain, mental agitation, dullness, a whole host of issues. So I'd like to talk to you about some of the super herbs and super spices that we have within Ayurveda that are so beneficial. So fenugreek, for example. Fenugreek is a seed, and what it does is it helps regulate your blood sugar levels. It balances your sugar levels in both diabetes 1 and 2. It can also help treat sluggishness and help with digestion. So fenugreek is oftentimes used in a simple tea or in different forms in Ayurveda to help you support the body. And then we also have cinnamon. So cinnamon is great because it can not only give you a sweet taste without really being sugar, but it also reduces blood sugar fasting levels, and it increases your antioxidant levels in the body. It also helps maintain your insulin sensitivity. So cinnamon is one of those easy things that you can sprinkle on something healthy, and it can help you with your sugar cravings. And then we also have aloe vera. So aloe vera helps regulate blood sugar levels, but also your lipid levels. Aloe vera has a host of benefits, including being really beneficial for gut health. So drinking aloe vera juice, for example, can really help with that. And then we also mentioned something called bitter melon. This melon is really, really bitter. And within Indian cooking, we found a way to make it taste satiating and delicious. It's a spicy dish that we cook. But this vegetable really is known very well for blood sugar regulation. And it's really great for your blood sugar levels in the body. So typically within Ayurveda, you would recommend these different herbs, spices, vegetables to be incorporated into the diet for someone. And then we mentioned here tulsi. So tulsi is lightening. It has an uplifting effect on the body and the mind. And it can act on fat metabolism. So it can help to reduce weight as well as blood sugar levels and total cholesterol. And then last but not least is turmeric. So turmeric happens to be my favorite spice ever. It's the super spice. It's a wonder spice. I'm pursuing my PhD right now, and my dissertation is on turmeric. And so I have read so many studies about the benefits of this one herb. Turmeric's active ingredient is called curcumin. And curcumin, when taken at 500 milligrams a day with black pepper, has such benefits to the body. You'll not only experience that it's a very powerful immune support, it's a powerful antioxidant, it's a fantastic anti-inflammatory. It can help with anemia. It helps with various skin disorders. It's traditionally used as an ingredient in diabetes formulations to help clear toxins and clear excess fat tissues. In supplement form, it's something that people take every single day because it helps combat a lot of the negative issues that we discussed earlier are created by sugar. So when you take sugar, you're really setting yourself up for so many chronic diseases. And turmeric is one of those spices that you can take in your life that can really bolster you or fortify you or strengthen you and prepare the body to not experience some of those things. It's almost like taking the opposite of sugar in some ways. It's really something that strengthens the body and gives the body what it needs, when sugar is something that takes away those same things. So I'm glad I got the opportunity to explain these different herbs to you. Within the Fusionary Formulas line, we do have a product called Turmeric Gold that has the 500 milligrams of curcumin plus black pepper. That's a very potent, clean supplement achieving this goal. And then there's one more herb I wanted to discuss called Jemima sylvestre. We developed a weight loss formula in our line, and we're going to be calling it Carb Control next year. But this product, Jemima sylvestre, turns off the tongue's ability to taste carbs and sugar. And I found that so fascinating when I learned about this herb, because in the US, as we discussed earlier, we have so many foods in front of us that are so tempting, the chips, the M&Ms, the junk. And it's oftentimes hard to have all the self-control you need. And I think crowding it out sounded like the best tip I've heard in so long that I'm going to apply in my own diet. I think that's a great way to fill your day with nourishing, healthy foods, and you crowd out the space for the junky, sugary foods. But Jemima sylvestre turns off the tongue's ability to crave carbs and sugar. So if it is something that you really struggle with, that's another great option. But I'm glad we got the chance to talk about super spices, including turmeric, with you. And I'm going to hand this back over to Connie now.
Excellent. Thank you, Shivani. That was great. And yeah, I'm sure those herbs and spices will help support you in your process. I really recommend you check them out. Again, I have sent that information to you. So if, don't worry about it, you'll get all that. So you can go check out the website, and Shivani is actually giving you free shipping on all of those. So remember that. Now, you have to understand that once you make that connection between what you eat and how you feel and learn to eat well, your life will be completely different. I find that for me, just learning and making that connection was very important. And the only way you can do that is by being aware, by really paying attention. So when you start paying attention to the triggers, that's going to get you in that zone of really paying attention. And you have to make that in order to change the habit. Because you have to understand, sugar is not just a physical addiction, it is a habit. And habits are behaviors. We learn them. And once they become habits, we just do them automatically. You have to break the habit, and identifying the trigger will help you do that, okay? Now, let me just go through real quick what we talked about today. We went up through the 7 steps, and I gave you all the information beforehand, of course, of how terrible sugar is, but I'm sure you've heard a lot of that before. The important thing that I want you to get out of this is that those 7 steps, you have to become sugar savvy. You have to read the labels. You have to understand them. Go through the ingredient list first. Then you go to the nutrients, the nutrient content, and you look for the amount of sugar that's in them. Again, 4 grams is 1 teaspoon. Then you identify the triggers. Then once you see what it is, you immediately do something physical to break that trigger. Then if you still feel like you need that sugar, look at all the other options, try to crowd out the really bad ones, and move towards sugars that are in nature and that will help you. That will help actually populate your gut with healthy bacteria, and that is the key to controlling your cravings. Then get your sleep. I don't want you tired. And manage your stress. Very, very important. There's many ways to do that. Again, remember I told you I could send you some information on that will help you. And last but not least, support your body during the process. I really like what Shivani spoke about, and the products that she has, I'm telling you, they're top of the line. They are real. I wrote a whole blog on supplements and the scam that's in the supplement business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that is very unregulated. And many of the things that are out there just are not even what they claim to be. So I really, really suggest that if you take supplements right now, please, go through what you're taking. Make sure those brand names are reputable. It's called consumerslab.com. That is a place that you can go. You do have to pay a yearly fee, but you can go there and register. I forget how much you pay, but it's not much. And then you can go through all the names of your supplements. And let me tell you, you're going to be surprised. Some are just, you're throwing your money away. So pay your annual dues for consumerlabs.com and find out what's true. And so that's why I had Shivani here to talk to you, because her products are real. They come with real ingredients that are really going to support you. Okay? So keep that in mind. And that's about it. If you're here now until the end of the session, I am so happy and I appreciate it. And for that, I am more than happy to give you a private mini session with me, which ranges in up to $200, depending on how long and what we're going to be talking about. But we'll do one for 30 minutes, and you can talk to me about your unique concerns, goals, whatever might be getting in the way, whether it's sugar or not, okay? I will send you also a link so that you can book your session. And thank you so much. I hope you got valuable information, and hope to see you at the next webinar. So now we have time for questions. If you have any questions, you can put them in the box, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. We have a few more minutes. If anybody wants to ask anything related to this webinar, please do so.